Okay, so as you can see, I've got the item finally textured as far as the piece is concerned. Alright, so we've got all of our dirt texture around the swampy area. We've still got our nice reservoir in the bottom. I blended in over here a little bit and around some of the edges, just kind of adding a little sand off the ridge just to give it more of a natural look to it. One thing I want to point out is make sure that you, on the side of your hardboard or whatever base you use, like a thick cardboard or whatnot, you texture that as well. That'll make the piece look nice and completed when you're done. But you'll notice that where the cattails and field grass are integrated in, that's all kind of seamless now. When we paint it, it's going to look great. I'm going to do the painting off camera, but I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to approach it now. So what I'm basically going to do is I am going to use a dark brown, medium brown, and tan. A dark brown base on the dirt, a medium brown highlight, and a tan highlight in all the dirt and mud around this swamp. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint my wood up, however you like to paint wood. Very similar approach actually to the dirt. Probably going to have a little bit of white highlighting at the end of that just to give it an aged look. And then I'm going to, for my cattails, paint those up with all brown and a little bit of tan highlighting, of course. And as far as the swamp, which is the most important part as far as painting goes, I'm going to give that kind of a greenish blue, like 3 parts green, 1 part blue, swirly kind of look to it. I'm going to naturally blend those blues and greens with a paintbrush, put them in there wet, and swirl them and mix them right on the terrain piece itself to give it kind of a mucky, swirling look. Now, there's different trains of thought on what color a swamp should be. Probably dark brown, would be the most logical color. It's really very muddy and dirty water. I go for more of the green, just to, sometimes you have to decide when you're doing terrain if you're looking for a piece that's, photorealistic, or if you're looking for a piece that's wargamey. And what I mean by wargamey is, it's not true to life as far as colors. It's more for visual appeal. I'm going somewhere in between, but with the green and a little bit of blue in there, definitely more the wargaming than the scenic, photorealistic scenic approach. If you want to do the realistic approach, of course, it'd probably be a brown water, different browns, different mixes of brown you could put in there swirling around. But I'm going to use greens and blues and maybe a little brown. So I'm going to paint that up once this is texture's all dry, and then we'll look at the painted piece, and then we get to talk about the last part of this project, the most fun, which is the water effect. All right, so hang on, and we'll be back in a little while. Okay, this item is now all painted up and flocked now. You might notice we've changed locations. That's because I'm upstairs in my dining room. We are going to go into the adding the finish, the high gloss finish or water effect to this piece. My basement is a little colder than 70 degrees right now because it's upstate New York and it's springtime, so it's not really warm yet. So that's why I've come upstairs where it's a little warmer. It's going to be room temperature where this can sit and dry like it's supposed to. Anyway, let me just zoom in on the finished piece for a second. Talk about some of the painting. So you can see, as I said I would do, kind of give it a greenish blue, a little bit of blue, but mainly a green tint, a murky green tint to the swamp area. I swirled some brown in just to give it a little bit of a mucky look to it. Paint up the cattails and flock this in static grass. One thing you want to do, because you're going to be dealing with adding this sticky gloss finish, so you want to make sure there's no loose static grass on this that could get in your mixture. So I'm going to tap this. I've already done it many times, so just to be sure, I'm going to tap this and make sure there's no loose static grass. And now I'm content that there's none. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to add this Envirotex light pour on high gloss finish. A lot of people in the who do terrain making really like this for water effects, and I do too. So let me talk a little about mixing this. First thing is, if I got two just Dixie cups or paper cups to mix in. This is a 2-part finish that comes in 2 polymer coating bottles. One's a rosin, one's a hardener, and you basically mix these in equal parts to make your gloss finish that's going to give us our water effect. Now you'll notice that on the side of the box it suggests coverage, how much you should make for coverage sizes. It says 4 ounces is 1 square foot. This is about a half a square foot, this piece. So I'm going to need 2 ounces of each mixed in equal parts. Now when you mix this, what I've done, when you mix the stuff, so I can make sure I get 2 ounces, I've kind of marked on the side of the bottle with a Sharpie, basically different amounts, so I don't need a measuring cup or anything. I can just pour out the correct amount. So I'm going to mix these in 1 cup, and then they suggest using a double cup method. So you mix some in 1 cup. Okay, I'm just going to check my amount. Okay, gotta do some more. Need a little bit more. Okay, you mix these two, the rosin and the hardener, in 1 cup, and then we're going to mix them in the other cup. They suggest this to make sure you get a nice mix. And let me check my amount there. Need a little bit more. Okay. So what we're going to do is, using a popsicle stick, I'm just going to mix this up. It's kind of like, mixing ingredients for a recipe. If you don't mix it thoroughly, it's not going to turn out right. And in this case, if we did not mix this up, it's not going to cure right when it dries, and it's certainly not going to go on right if we don't whip it up correctly. If fumes bother you, you want to be in a well-ventilated area, because it does have a little bit of a noxious stink to it. But you definitely want to spend a few minutes, 2 to 4 minutes, I'd suggest 4 minutes, stirring this up. So I'm going to actually speed this up or go off camera while I mix this. I'm going to tell you that what I'm going to do is, after I've whipped it up in here for a couple minutes,